Welcome to the Port Charles Update with your hosts, Mish and Mel.
Hey Mel,
Hello, how are you?
I'm not bad, not bad. I'm in the car, my office, and the only place I really get to go to during the week. So, how was
And
your
have
week?
solitude?
Yeah, pretty much. I swear, like there's a neighbor out kind of looking, and I know other people having a party, and it's just like, if you have kids, you'd understand why I'm in this car.
Right?
Oh my God. I swear this week was just basically like a part two of last week, with everyone being sick.
Yeah.
So same thing, kid home a lot from daycare because he was sick. I was sick too. So I'm basically hoping this weekend will make up for that. We're supposed to go apple picking. You know how I feel about that. But still.
Oh my God, we had so many jokes. Okay, so our week this week was we're in the round two of kids being sick from school
Mm.
terms. A lot of sleepless nights. This is busy time at work, so I am just like, what's the expression? Burning the candles at both ends. I took today off. I don't even know what day we are. And we went apple picking. So we did it today, but everybody had a pet day, so it was jam packed. I do not like big
Oh.
crowds. Yeah, yeah. In the end, I mean, the kids were great. They had a great time. They ate lots of apples. There's like a play park there too, so they do all kinds of like climb a haystack and all kinds
Oh.
bales of hay. It's like really cute and stuff. But yeah, Brandon's like, we're standing in line waiting to pay to get in, and when it is not cheap, I'm like, he's like, do you just want to go to the grocery store and buy some apples?
This is exactly it, because we were at the grocery store today and I saw the apples and Jackson's like pointing apple. I'm like, no, we're going to get some on Sunday. And I'm like, and the worst part is before apple picking, I guess it's a season, I bought apples at the grocery store, except the bag was ginormous, but it was the same price as regular apples. So I bought it. So I have so many damn apples at home already. And I mean, do you have to climb?
Well, it depends on the tree. Cause see, we picked gala apples because that's our
Oh,
favorite.
I do like those. Yes.
Right? So they were like a smaller bush, and then some of the other trees, like when we went to like the Macintosh, they were the ones that were like bigger and higher up.
Oh, okay. So
So
you
I think
don't
it
have to
depends.
get on a ladder then.
You don't have to necessarily get on it.
Okay.
It really depends on the type of apple. But yeah, we were joking, and then we're standing in line, and we're trying to pass time with the kids. I'm like taking some like family shots, and he's making fun of me. Like I'm trying to make memories. He's like, okay, do you have those memories? Can we go now? Can we get those apples at the grocery store?
Seriously.
I started laughing. I'm like, you know what? I'm really, really like on the edge. But then the line started moving. So we got through it. We got some great pictures. We got back home, made the kids run around with the neighbors, and they were asleep by 6:30. So honestly,
That's
I'm thrilled.
amazing. The one thing I'm looking forward to is I'm hoping, because I'm hoping we'll get a horse ride into where the apples are. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, is for Jackson
Yeah,
to
you know
see
how I feel about
a horse. Oh, right. Okay. Maybe we should tell people how we feel about things. Maybe you not so much with the horse, but the whole apple thing. I don't know why it bothers me so much. I think strawberry picking is cool because we used to do that growing up. And that's fun because you can eat the strawberries as you're picking them. I don't know if you're supposed to, but we did. And then what you can make with the strawberries is no bake. You just squish the strawberries in a glass, add sugar, and be like, this is yummy. The thing with apples
ice
is
cream, some vegan ice cream, and you're good to go.
with the strawberries.
Yeah.
But the thing is with apples, it's an apple. Like, you can eat it, sure, but then it's like you'd have to make an apple pie, and I don't want that pressure. I don't have time for that. I'm not going to bake anybody an apple pie after we go apple picking. And I think it also bugged me because it's like in September, and I would always be in school because I've been in school for like forever. And so I would be resentful of people who just had the time to sit around going to
Just
pick their own
absolutely.
apples instead of just going to the grocery store. So I think like I have some anger toward apple picking. I think it's too much
Oh.
effort for an apple. So in case anybody wanted, because we keep saying this to each
I
other,
know it.
you know how I feel about this, and everyone's like, "How do you feel?" I don't know if they care, but they probably just want us to talk about GH right now.
Yeah, but you should just I'll let you take the lead if you want
Yeah,
to hop right in. I'm good about
yes, I
this apple
do.
talk.
I do. I do. I'm done. I'm done complaining about apples. Okay, so the big stuff, Oscar. Poor guy. Poor
Oscar,
guy.
poor guy, but he just like that scene in the elevator.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
so
nailed it.
I'm gonna do the sad stuff first. Yeah, he totally
Yeah.
nailed it. The emotional state, because I find sometimes he can be like very emotionless in his eyes. So,
Yes. Okay. I thought that until they hired the first teenage Cameron. Not to be
okay.
mean, but when the first teenage Cameron came on, his acting wasn't superb, hence the newer Cameron. But that was what made me go, oh wow, everybody's a good actor. Oscar's a really good actor. I know that's so mean, but like, yeah. So yeah, Oscar is a good actor, and he did really, really good. I mean, I guess he plays like a blah teenage boy, quiet
Yes.
teenage boy if you contrast him with
Okay.
Jocelyn. But man, yeah, he did really amazing. The poor thing was terrified. I mean, we've been debating for a long time, like what Kim was doing, keeping it a secret.
Yeah.
But man, was it hard to watch a child
Oh,
swallow that information.
it was incredibly heartbreaking. Just the quiver in his voice when he's asking them, just
Hmm.
wanting them to confirm. So I'm watching this and I'm like, oh man, like my heart is aching. I'm like, my eyes are welling up. And then I go from that emotion to like straight up laughing when he leaves the room and Kim is like freaking out and Drew comes in to hug her and it's like she doesn't know what to do with her hands. So all I kept thinking in my head is, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with my hands.
But was she not trying to restrain him as well, though?
She was. I thought he
Yeah.
was gonna push her. Like I don't know like how that scene was
Oh,
gonna
that would have
go, but
been.
like that
Oh,
would have
I
been
don't know how that would have
intense.
been. Yes.
I know.
But that's what I mean. Like, I mean, she admits to it later. Like, she does say, "What have I done?" Like, it starts to hit her
Yeah.
in the reality that, oh man, the consequences to my actions are very real. And it was one thing to say to people, "Oh yeah, I know he'll be mad, but it'll pass." But is it worth him spending his minimal days angry? Obviously, I don't think he's so much angry anymore. I mean, he did contact his parents eventually, but yeah, I don't know if it was worth it when you could have been sort of dealing with it together. I mean, 2 years in, he could have been way more adapted to the situation.
Well, adapted, maybe cross some things off his list,
Yeah.
have the ability to change the way he interacts with people, life, situations. Like, there's just so much that could have been done. So yeah, I really was just, that whole scene with them was incredible. And Kim was incredible too in her reaction and
If he had started the show dying, it would have been a very much, I feel, him like Oscar and Jocelyn. It might have been like the intensity of Stone and Robin from the
yeah,
start.
yes.
But yeah, it was pretty tough. But Drew, honestly, I wasn't sure if he was going to be like, honestly, I didn't want to keep it from
I
you.
know. I was like, is he gonna say it? Is he not? But I could
But
have pictured it.
he did so good keeping in a united front with Kim
Yes,
and
yes.
basically saying, it was our decision. I'm like, you are so kind,
I know.
you know. I at least he did admit, I didn't know it as long as he did. I just
I
found
like
out
that you fit
recently.
that part in.
But I was looking to see, is he going to in some way try to separate himself from her at all? And I mean, he didn't. And at the end of the day, I think Oscar will know which parent wanted what from him. But I mean, who better for him to have ran into than Jason, though?
I love and I initially love that first scene. Well, I don't know if it's the first scene, but them together when he did have his seizure, like that connection that they have. Because
Mm-hmm.
I find there are similarities. I know it's his uncle and all that, but there's not a whole lot of time with them together. So I think
Yeah,
he was the perfect person for him to connect with at that point in time, who can just really see his side, speak to him in a truthful way without trying to, how do you say, like feel pity on him or any of those emotions that like somebody else might have put on him. He just like sat there,
right.
listened, and connected with him. And I thought that was like exactly what Oscar needed. So it was a very
Yeah.
well written and acted scene.
Well, it's what he was deprived from, that sort of allowing him to own his own stuff
Mm-hmm.
and to sort of stand on his own and kind of think for himself a little bit. Um, okay, so we talked about this before, the concept of inoperable. And I thought this could be hope because then a miracle would happen or some kind of
Exactly.
special surgeon. But now we have a clinical trial. So we didn't have any of this. I mean, even this week, wasn't Kim showing Drew folders? Oh, this is all the stuff that's not going to work.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden we have a clinical trial. So I don't know. What's your prediction?
I think that, okay, so clinical trial, just to clarify, so does that mean that they're going to give like a placebo to so-and-so and the real medication to so-and-so, or is it
No,
like,
no, no, no. In a clinical trial like this, you're getting drugs.
you're
Like
getting
you're
the drugs?
getting the
Okay,
treatment. You're getting the treatment.
because all I kept thinking was, okay, if they do that, then somebody's going to have to go into the lab and then switch it and then get in the right medication, and somebody else is going to have to,
No, no. She's
Okay,
applying to a
that
clinical
being
trial in
said,
this context.
I think that they're going to drag it out and make it seem like he is going to die, but then he won't. But at the very end, like they're gonna like make it drag.
I'm okay with that because a lot of
I'm okay
story.
with that too.
Because a lot of story, as long as he lives, but a lot of story can happen in between, like so much growing
Exactly,
and changing
exactly.
of relationships. And honestly, I really want to see where Cameron is going to fit into all of this.
I was just going to bring that up. So the fact of like how he brought it to him, the little innuendos with Jocelyn, it's like, dude, pick a side. Like, what are you trying to do and what are you trying
Thank
to say?
you. Is it not
Like, holy
confusing?
shit, man. Yes, so incredibly
I'm like, are you trying to
confusing.
be a jerk or are you trying to be nice? Because you're being nice one second, then you're being a jerk another second. The guy literally says, "I'm not going to just drop dead and let you have Jocelyn all to yourself." And
I
then you're
know.
you're you're feeding Jocelyn all of you're trying to make her insecure about Oscar, and I'm like, no, for real, what are you doing? Like, is that basically a reflection into Cameron's mind? Is that he's just a
That's
little
what I was saying.
erratic?
I think that that is a very, very good point because that's kind of what I think. So he's a teenager. He's in love with this girl. Teenagers are selfish.
Mm-hmm.
He already doesn't want Oscar in his life. He's got stuff going on at home. But there was that like connection point with Franco at some point in the week, which I thought was
When?
interesting.
Oh, I don't know if that was a real connection. You mean
Well,
when,
that's the thing. Like you can't tell if it's like
what,
genuine
what
or what side
part?
of the line he's on. Well, when they got back to the house and he was
Oh,
like,
that
they
was
were having
so,
a conversation about the little brother, but then he
yeah,
wasn't like too sarcastic, but he was almost like normal with Franco, and Franco's kind of like, I'm not
because,
going anywhere.
well, no. So that conversation was more Franco testing what Carly said to him. So Carly confronts him
Uh,
about like Cameron kind of being like, maybe he's just fed up with the revolving door and he's acting out.
yeah.
And so I think the revolving door stuck in his head. And to him, he's like, is Cameron trying to be man at the house and he's expecting me to leave? So this is why he's sort of treating him the way that he is.
I agree, but I think on
And
the other side of it
so,
too, Cameron's reaction is indicative of his like, it kind of shows where he stands just like in all of his decisions. Is he faking it? Is he being
oh,
genuine?
I just thought he was trying to get away from Franco because he was trying to avoid Jocelyn at the community center. And I just felt like it was an extension of that.
Okay.
Like that's how I saw it. It was just that he was just kind of like, whatever, I don't care. I don't even know if he's taking Franco seriously because when he said, because I'm temporary, yes, he did reassure him I'm not going anywhere, but that was when he like hit the nail on the head with Cameron, and Cameron was like, oh, at least you admit it. So at least we know a little bit of how he sees his mother's
Relationship.
right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Oh man, when Carly went at him, went at
Oh my
Franco and talked
god.
about Elizabeth, that he's had so many prospective fathers. I was like, oh jeez.
I know. Like the only thing I could think of was like, damn, the truth hurts. That's just
Yeah,
what.
no, Carly has sort of said things about Elizabeth that have made me go, oh, right, that is true. And it's interesting, that's how she sees her. Because she did it a long time ago. I forget who she was talking to, but the whole that Elizabeth sometimes will play that damsel in distress role. I need to
Oh,
be cared for,
sometimes I
or the
feel like
fact that
all the time.
or that she places herself she often places herself in a love triangle. But it's funny having another character sort of interpret her on the show like that. But when Carly does it, it's very brutal. It's true. I mean, they all have their flaws, and when you cut to the chase like that, it don't look good, but it's true.
It doesn't. And to top it off, it's like it's Carly. It's her delivery. It's her
Yeah.
mannerisms. It's her intensity and hatred for her.
Yeah, it's so gross that they actually were together. Not because of like the history of who Franco was and
hmm
Carly. I mean, it's weird that
Yeah.
he's with Elizabeth, but like also weird with when he was with Carly. But anyways, let's not go there. Okay, so again, sticking with the Oscar storyline, how did you feel about Drew interfering between Kim and Julian?
Oh, I like that standoff was, I didn't like it.
Pointless!
Not like it. It wasn't necessary. Julian has proved to be a truly, genuinely caring and there person for Kim. She chose not to say anything to him, and that's fine. And I get it. It's their kid, but at the same token, Julian is there to support Kim, therefore support Oscar. He wasn't asking anything, like, I feel
She didn't
inappropriate,
say
like, whatever.
anything. Because you're right.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to know. At the condo, when she was at her place, she says, I can't talk about it, and he was fine with that.
Yeah.
But I don't understand what stopped you in person, why you would let Drew talk for you. Yes, you're stressed out about your kid, but can't you just say, I'm stressed out about Oscar. He didn't come home. I really can't right now. You don't have to tell him what's going on. But the fact that she just let Drew deal with it and she couldn't just be a grown up and just handle that on her own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm worried about Oscar. I really can't right now. I really appreciate you being here and leaving it alone. Standing there flailing your hands and only talking to Drew, was that helpful? Like, you could have used that energy to just go, not right now, Julian, or say something.
Yeah, it's going to create a rift, as it is Julian saying, like, how, Oscar wants his parents together. And, like, I don't think Julian is specifically insecure, but he's got his eye on Drew, and that, like, and the fact that Kim can't, and they have such a solid relationship, I feel, Kim and Julian, doing that was just, it just sucked. It
Yeah,
just
I
sucked
didn't like that she did that
in
at
that
all.
position. Yeah, agreed.
Was there anything else about that storyline
Okay,
this
there's
week?
one thing, but like, and it was another morbid thing that kind of made me giggle in the whole situation. I think it's because I was so sad. I was just looking for these moments to kind of like laugh in the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's like something about she wanted to give him the gift of like not knowing, and he said, "Well, this gift is about to expire."
Who said
And
that?
Oscar, and
No!
like I couldn't. I was like, really, really, that line. That line like really necessary?
Yeah, I didn't even catch that one because the line that actually got me, that I felt was so like a punch in the gut, was
Right.
when his parents kept asking him, how did you find out? And he said, you're worried about how I
Yes.
found out. I'm worried about how much time I have to live. And I was like, oh, that was so
Damn, I know that was
good.
impactful. That was like,
Yes.
holy shit, silence the room. Like, holy, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I really, really
So
like
good.
that. So, like, the thing with Oscar and Jason, like, we already talked about it, and I agree. I think Jason was a perfect person to talk to. But I was just wondering, I'm like, I don't know. This is just, it's like, what is that leading up to? Because like you said, he never had this relationship with Jason. The first time he hangs out with him, he has a seizure. Now he's going to Jason. And I do think Jason is the easiest person to comfort him. But I was like, okay, is this sort of a backwards thing, like how Drew bonded with his son? Jason's not bonding with his son. Is it
Oh,
meant to be a competitive thing, or is it meant to be like, we have so many connections, we can't help but be bonded?
I didn't see it that way. I didn't think about it that way. I thought about it as, because he's gonna be so mad at his parents. Like, I know he like hugged them and saw them in the end. I think he's gonna want to stay close to Jason just for his sheer
Me
experience and the way
too.
he feels with them. I think and then also what kind of made me think about that, and it may be like jumping, but there was a scene earlier this week, with him reflecting back about being with Michael and that conversation Michael, Carly, and Jason
Yes.
were having. So I felt like it was like a dotted line to him being that person in Oscar's life.
Okay, because I wasn't sure what that scene was about. Like what, like like the depth of that scene. You're talking about Lucas's kid. You have
Yeah.
Michael there. We know it's his baby. Now you're reminiscing about Michael. We know it's a very bonded thing, and it's kind of coming. It was, and it is coming full circle. The concept that he had Michael, and now Michael will have a baby, and they'll be able to understand each other the way that Jason grew up and can now understand his parents a little bit better. But then they added that memory, and I'm like, I don't understand what this is leading to. I was wondering, because I was like, does this mean that he has some kind of a clue that maybe Michael's baby is really out there? Like, I wasn't sure the significance of putting that memory in at that moment. But it does reflect a new role, a similar role he'll be playing with Oscar.
That's what I feel. That's the connection that I
Well,
need.
he is the uncle, like to Michael and now to Oscar. He has like another another nephew, another person to guide, because Jake's still too small. And, like, it is what it is. They
True.
don't have, like, major roles. But yeah, that could have been it, you know, just Oscar sort of taking that lead. But yeah, no, it looks like they're gonna build a relationship for sure. I was just like so curious about where it was going, the whole Jason and Oscar, because I don't see how Oscar can kind of keep going in this whole situation without Jason at this point.
Okay, but like, question: where does Jason live right now?
He has his own apartment. They showed it once or twice.
Okay, because I'm like, I've never seen, because like I can totally see like Oscar living with Jason, but I'm like, but then where does he live?
Oh,
Mm.
right. I don't know.
Because it's kind of reflective of like, I find, and I know I'm jumping all over the place, but because Jason is the center of so many storylines these days, I find like it's hard not to talk about him and all the other extensions. So his family's growing, the people around him, his network. He's like this family man now. His emotions are being emoted, and Sam is taking on, so like his quote unquote partner, who they're not together, but they're eventually going to
Yeah.
be together. So she's taking on Christina. She has her 2 kids, and she's that like go-to centered person, the female version of him in so many ways. And
Yeah.
now he has like this Oscar thing. So I find it's like a reflection too of where Sam is in her life, where he is growing to be in his life, and just bringing them
Oh,
closer
yeah.
together.
It's so true. Christina's a little bit of a mini Sam, because Sam at some point was really lost when she came, and it took a long time for her
Mm-hmm.
to find her place in Port Charles. And you're right, Oscar kind of having to grow up too fast because of an incident,
Mm-hmm.
and feeling that, and that incident creating tension between him and his parents. That is so true. They both have like a mini me going on.
I'm very insightful.
Yes, yes, you are.
Oh God, just today.
That was good. I'm trying to. You made me think of something, but whatever, it doesn't matter. We'll talk
It'll
about
come
it
back.
next week.
It'll
Yeah.
come back.
Okay. So I mean, I'm. I don't know if the word is happy, but the whole Charlie storyline this week was a bit smaller. Not because of anything to do with Mike, but
Yes.
if it minimizes the amount of time that I have to deal with the DA,
Oh
it's all
yeah.
good. So, I mean, so she comes out again with her whole story, but I really appreciate that Jordan kind of confronted her and was like, dude,
Yes.
this report came out like an hour ago and you said nothing. Do you need to talk about this? Can I call somebody? No, she has no friends because she's mean to everybody. Um,
Exactly.
and, and then it's like, why are you not telling her maybe you're not supposed to be investigating this?
Well, that's
Like,
the part
maybe
I
you
was waiting
should
for.
be
So I'm like,
working
did
on this.
I miss it? Did I
No,
like miss
she
a
didn't.
scene? Did I like blink? Did I get distracted? So I'm like, why is she still working on the case?
Yeah, no one's brought that up. I guess in your DA, you can try any case. But I mean, they're
Yeah.
trying to make her more human, because I don't know if she did that as a way to like deflect, but you know, obviously anybody watching is like, you need to now be thrown off the case now that Sunny left. And then she kind of is a bit vulnerable with Jordan, being like, oh my gosh, Sunny just
Yeah.
looked like through me. And she was just sort of like, this is so upsetting. And I'm just like, again, I really have no sympathy
Like I
for her at
literally,
all.
and that is like that's exactly what I was thinking when I was watching it. But a part of that scene, okay, so like we have no sympathy for her. She's still working on the case, and we're like, what the heck? But like, let's go back just a step further and having Sunny in the room with her, and all I kept thinking was, oh my God, Sunny, stop doing that with your face. Like she just kept talking to him, and he just kept making these expressions of like he is so like
Is
expressive
he
with
making
his
guilty
face.
face?
He
Because
was
I was
making
thinking
like
guilty face.
angry. He was making guilty slash
Okay.
angry face to cover up the guilty face. Then he was giving her like the death stare. I'm like, dude, you cannot death stare the DA who's jumping so quickly to confusions. Do not talk. Like, stop
I
talking.
know. I was
And
just
just
like, you
like,
should have brought a lawyer.
oh,
Any
1000%. Jason,
lawyer.
lawyer. And yeah, that whole thing, I was like screaming at the TV. I'm like, oh, well,
It was so frustrating.
quietly
I'm like,
screaming at the TV.
it's like you brought him over. I mean, I get it. They kind of do that, you know, when they're investigating, they just sort of try to rattle you a little. But I'm just like, you made him come to the house. You know what he's dealing with at home in his personal life. His dad has Alzheimer's. You're
Mm-hmm.
saying, come here or we'll come there. We don't want to upset him. I'm like, are you seriously using his father again to try to control him. And then he comes there and you're going on and on and on about all these things that you know, but with no evidence. Like, you're missing the big piece. And I think this is why the PCPD doesn't solve crimes, is that they never
Exactly.
think to get the evidence. Like, really?
It's just a minor thing, I guess, in Port Charles.
Oh my gosh, no, but I was just really annoyed. Like, she's giving him information, which I guess is helpful. But at the same time, what did you expect? Like, you're going on and on. You're like, he just looked right through me. What did you expect? Him to just be like, you know what? A bunch of DAs have tried, but in this moment, I'm just going to tell you, you're right. I did
I'm
it.
gonna confess. Please handcuff me immediately and send me to
Like, I was
jail.
just wondering,
You
like,
are the
what
one
was it that you
DA.
were, like, what were they expecting? Like, what was she expecting? It sounded like she had more of an expectation of this encounter, like something massive was going to come from it. Technically, it did because she sort of solved it, but still, she has no proof.
She has no idea, and she has no proof that that's actually the truth. So that's when you left. She's like, wait a second, let me jump to this big conclusion, and then do nothing, and
Yeah.
apparently still be on the case. This is lovely.
I mean, yeah, it was ridiculous. And I mean, outside of all of that, I guess the one sort of emotional piece about Sunny and his father was, it was really interesting how they talked about how it's not just the Alzheimer's in relation to that memory, but how that memory of Sunny committing that murder is more significant to Mike because that was when Sunny, in his mind, crossed over.
I know, that kind of blew my mind. I'm
I
not
was
gonna
like,
lie.
whoa.
Said it
I
like
was
that. I was
like,
like, damn, that's deep.
yeah, they really added layers to their relationship, to Sunny. But then it was just, you know what hit me was when, because Sunny said it, and I guess, you know, it shouldn't be shocking that Carly also said it because, well, she knows him extremely well and accepts him for
Yeah.
exactly who he is. But when he goes, I would have done it all the same. I was like,
No.
really?
I know. I was
Really? After all the people that have
surprised.
gotten blown up and died
I
along
know.
the way? All right.
He's really committed to that life, that's
Yeah,
for
he is.
sure.
He is.
But to not want to change one single thing of how that
Yeah.
unfolded or how it started, that
It was,
was,
it was a little stunning.
mm-hmm.
Anyways, but I guess Carly and Jason just understand that that's just who he is as a person. And I guess, you know, when you watch the show, you think that too. But it's really weird because we've seen everything that he's done. And in our minds, we're like, well, of course there might be things we want to change. But then to hear him say he would not want anything to change was just, it just adds a whole new layer to what it is that Carly exactly accepts. Because that can't be
That's
easy.
true.
That
That's true.
cannot
And
be
she
easy.
says it with such confidence too that she
Yeah.
knows that's who he is. And when she reiterated it in such a close way that he did, that like, you know, that nothing would have changed. If Mike had done something differently, it wouldn't have mattered. He would have still gone down that path. It was like, wow, they like are connected. She is just like
Mm-hmm.
living this life with him, even though her hands are not dirty. They are. And she's
Yep.
fine with
Pretty much.
it. Yeah.
So back to Cameron just real quick.
Yeah.
I thought of you. So
Oh
when they
God,
showed
why?
Cameron and Jocelyn in the library, I was like, oh my God, is Melanie's mind blown that there's a new set?
No, because I'm like, where does Jason live? Does he live in the library? Are they going to change the set? And does he live behind that wall? No, no,
You're
like I
so
did.
funny.
For like a split second, I was like, oh wow, look at that. The school has a library.
Because they've never really shown, have they? I don't know. I think when, I
I
know,
don't feel that
no,
there were that many sets back in the day. I feel like
no.
since I'm rewatching now, like we're back in it. There's so many different locations. So I feel like there used to be like 3 or 4 major locations. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the Quartermaine, Sunny's house, the hotel, and the hospital. And I feel like those were always like the 4 major centers. And now there's
Yeah.
like these bars and cafes, and like they're really like
They're
making it a
expanding the
real
city.
town.
They're
Exactly.
expanding the city. Yeah, so Cameron, I mean, we already talked about how confusing he was. But in the
Mhm.
library, again, this is what I mean. I really don't know what Cameron's deal is. So he spends the whole time trying to put bad ideas about Oscar in Jocelyn's head. And then all of a sudden, he gets a text from his mom about, hey, where's Oscar? And he knows. That's the shitty thing, is that Cameron
Yeah.
knows that Oscar went to find out if he had cancer or not. Now he's disappeared, so he must have gotten an answer he didn't like. So he knows that as a baseline. But then all of a sudden in front of Jocelyn, the fact that his mom texts him, he's like, my mom texted me too. And I'm like, so now you care? Like, I have no idea where Cameron lies here at all.
I don't either. Like, he's not, you can't tell if he's actually like caring that Oscar is sick or is a tiny bit excited about Jocelyn. Like, I don't know. I honestly
Oh,
don't know.
so
Like,
bad.
is he
So
even, like,
bad.
I know it's like horrible, but we also have to think of
But I
all the
don't
things
think
he's experienced, all the things he's seen. Is he going to be the good guy or the bad guy? Everybody on the show has like, Elizabeth is not like this bad guy like the mob, but she's still not exactly a good guy in the show.
not always. Like, she definitely, everybody's had
Yeah.
their moments. It's true.
So is he
Yeah,
going to play along those lines where, she hid a big secret? Is he going to be like her?
we'll see. We'll see. Like, she wasn't like an angel of a teenager either.
Yeah, that's what
But
she said too at one point. It's funny.
no, she wasn't. I watched it when she started. She started as the bad girl. I guess that's what kind of sucks. That you start as a bad girl and you have some kind of substance to your character. I mean, she does. A lot's happened to her, but she's definitely changed a lot and went from bad girl to like goody goody. Even though she doesn't always do good things. I mean, whatever. She's a
Right. Okay.
multidimensional person. But yeah, so I mean, her character really changed in a way. But anyways, off to like, well, this is not exactly Nina, but about Nina. So
Mm-hmm.
Curtis and Valentine. So I don't understand. You're a private investigator. You take on a case involving someone close with you,
Yeah.
and now you want to quit if the girl tested is not her daughter because you want Nina to know. Maybe don't take the case on about
I
somebody
know
you
you're a
know.
little too far in to make that
Yeah.
statement to that extent at that point in time. I was like, this is really ridiculous right now.
It's a lame conversation to constantly be had. I mean, fine, maybe he's playing Valentine's conscience and he's going to be what pushes him to tell Nina ultimately. But I'm
Okay.
just like, he hired you, man. Like, he hired you for a job. Like, do the job. Like, since when do you hire a private investigator with a conscience who's like, no, we must tell this person?
I know. And if he, like, you're absolutely right. Like, don't take the case, negotiate that you want to tell her up front. Like, there's a multitude of ways that you could have addressed this prior to getting this far deep into it. Like, even if he tells Nina now, she'll know that he was involved all this time. So what does it save Curtis? What does it do for Valentine? Like, it helps nobody at this point. Just find her damn daughter.
Pretty much. And I mean, and at the end of the day, he understands Valentine's point of view, but how many times does he have to tell you, I don't want to get her hopes up, and then we can't find her daughter? Or her daughter's dead or something like that.
Yeah,
Like he's made a case for why. Again, I think he should have told her so that they could have done the search together. If he was smart, they could bond that way.
I agree
But what I
too.
think is really interesting about Valentine, like I said, he always says and does the right thing, even though he does bad things. It's crazy because he's supposed to be the villain. But look, even in a
Yes.
conversation with Curtis, every time he's confronted, he always remains reasonable and says the right thing.
Good point.
It always baffles me. But anyways, he managed to kind of sort things out with Curtis and says that he'll tell Nina, I guess, even if the girl is or isn't her daughter. So you know what? It looks like she may not actually be her daughter. Because they hired her. I was like, oh, well, they hired an actress, so she must be Nina's daughter. But the fact that they're going back and, like, they're dragging on the testing, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
like, maybe she really isn't. Maybe it's a diversion since we have Kiki who's losing a mom.
She is, and like, do we want to jump into the whole
Go for
Kiki
it.
Ava thing right now? Okay,
Yeah.
so that scene at the bar was like so everything to me. So the way Ava's talking to Franco and she kind of stutters when he's like, "That's your daughter."
Yeah.
And she kind of takes a pause. Okay, so there's that I'm like, holy heck. And then there's the way that Kiki, I don't know how to say it. Like, we talked about Ava's look last week and how she could just turn it on and turn it off, that
Yeah.
really evil look. Okay, so I find that Kiki has been working on perfecting her I don't give a shit look to
Oh.
Ava. And when she walks into that bar and she sees her there, it wasn't a I'm hurt. It wasn't I'm so upset at you. It was like, oh, it's you. I don't give a shit. And I was like, good for you. It was like, I don't know what it was, but she has perfected her. I don't care about the situation anymore, which I think is great. So she's like distancing herself from Ava. Ava is always kind of wavering and using the word daughter like a million times, but she paused.
But so did Franco. like, now that you're talking about it, she's your daughter. I mean, I get what he was trying to say, but they are throwing that word around an awful
So
lot
much.
in terms of
So much.
your daughter, my daughter, your daughter. She's my daughter. She's no longer my daughter. I'm writing her off. But yeah, now that you brought it up, yeah, it's a bit weird, but like, I don't understand. You're telling, like, what are you doing here? You're telling Franco, somebody who goes out of his way to protect her. He's pretty much given her an apartment. He supported her financially. Kiki is ultimately his daughter. And you pretty much just told your daughter's father in a way that I'm going to get her.
I know,
to like
it's
ruin
so
her.
bizarre. I'm gonna
I'm just,
ruin her life because if somebody hurts me, it doesn't matter who they are, you're gonna ruin them. You're like, wow, you are some broken person.
but I'm just like, I don't know. Is this a protective? Is she protecting the damage she would cause by telling Franco in hopes that he would mitigate some of the damage she caused? I have no idea because I'm just like,
I don't know.
you're telling Franco.
I think, but the thing is though, Ava doesn't think. When she is
No.
heated, she just, like word vomit. It doesn't count as anything. So, like, I very much don't think that her character is going into, oh yeah, this is so and so and appeals to her in such and such way. So I need to monitor what I say. She doesn't monitor
Yeah.
anything.
But it's so funny. Griffin has come a long way. Like, it doesn't even seem like flustered by her at all.
I
Like,
know.
he walks in, like,
Do.
he doesn't, I don't know, like, I would feel like he would feel worse, or I could picture him, being really nervous around a situation like this, but he's not. He walks in with his daughter at the bar, and he's like, oh, you're leaving? Like, like, I don't know. He's just so cash. Like, he just didn't really care.
He didn't react, and he glanced back once, like when they were drinking, but like that was about it. He was like, okay, we're staying here, we're staying. That's cool.
Well, I mean, he looks over the whole thing, but to my understanding, I don't think he wanted to get back with her. It happened. He
Mm-hmm.
did say, I love you after, but I don't think he actually wanted to get back with her after he had slept with Kiki. I think in his head it was over.
You see, like I mean, I can
That's what
just
I
go back
thought.
and YouTube it or something, but I just don't even see how they fit together. Like I didn't see the evolution of the relationship, like Ava and Griffin, so um, I can't even picture them together. But
Dumb. It's
when
all
like,
good.
but he worked for me. Like it's getting there, their chemistry, their relationship, like
Yeah.
it's getting better for sure.
But it does suck for Ava, though, when she's like, oh, and you live down the hall, and now they're here, and I'm just
I
like,
know.
yeah, pretty much. It is pretty bad. And I mean, she is right. I mean, I don't know if Kiki ever did apologize. Like, she's flaunting it in my face. And I'm like, I guess she is. But I don't know. I don't think she really kept it a secret that her and Griffin were friends before and still friends after.
I just think with all the things that Ava
No,
has
she's done, I
done,
know.
this is
I
like
know.
such a small, insignificant portion
It's a
that
blip.
I
It's
don't even
really a
think about.
blip.
Yeah, big time.
But did you like what Franco said? That he said, isn't this not your dynamic? One of you disappoints the other,
Oh,
and then you kind of make up, and usually it's you, and this is the first time it's Kiki.
yeah.
I was like,
He's like,
oh,
that's
that
how
is
you love each
really
other. Like,
interesting.
wow.
That's how you relate. Yeah, he's been to therapy, so.
True. It's so funny.
Okay,
Oh.
so that, like, usually I'm, Team Stella. I'm on Team Stella only when
Mm.
it has to do with Mike. But really, the conversation with her and Jordan,
Oh, okay, at the beginning I was really hopeful because they were kind of like joking around and stuff.
yeah,
And then I thought that Jordan referred back to it after to Curtis was like kind of funny because it was exactly what I was thinking.
yeah.
Like, she's like, we start off kind of okay. And then she just like lays into her. I'm like, dude, get over it, man.
But now
Get
she's
over it.
responsible for Curtis's mother dying? That's new.
Well, that I don't understand. Is it because of like the stress of losing her son made her like just die?
She's just milking it. Yeah, like the mother
Okay.
was ill. This is why she
Oh,
raised them. Like her sister was
right.
ill or something
Okay.
like that. And so she had a more involved role with the kids. And obviously she eventually passed. But the understanding I have is that their mother was ill. And I'm just like, really? Really? Everybody who's dead is Jordan's fault?
Apparently.
Like,
Yeah,
you're a
let's just
different
pile it
Jordan,
on.
so, you don't know what's been going on. turns out you're also responsible for my sister's death too.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was that. And I mean, Jordan's comment about Stella being a social worker. I loved
Yes.
that. That was so funny that you spend your
Oh,
life helping families stay together and you won't do it here. And her answer is like, well, I like to
I
keep my work life
compartmentalize.
separate. So it's like, so I basically don't like to work on myself or at all. I
Oh,
mean, ultimately, I feel like when she's alone with Mike, she acknowledges her role in this. Like, she acknowledges that,
yes.
love matters and this is something I have to work on. But whenever she talks to Jordan and Curtis, she throws it all on them.
Yeah, it's like there's a switch that flips. And
Yeah,
that's
totally.
like, I'm always hopeful when she speaks to Mike that she's going to take that back with her. And I mean, it's
Yeah.
not a huge storyline. I don't care either way how that whole situation goes, but you're just like,
But it
oh,
does not
we'll have a nice
transfer.
interaction. Yeah, no, it doesn't.
No, it never transfers over. Um, but like, yeah, so they argued and it was not great, but I'm just saying, she's like, I do have a life, and Jordan apologized. And I'm like, I feel you meant that. I know you're apologizing to her, but I feel like you mean that she doesn't have a life of her own, because I don't know. I'm just saying, like, yes, everything was horrible, but if Curtis can get past it, it was his brother, and he had a separate
Exactly.
conflict, then there's Jordan's own son, um, who was lied to about who his father was, and then his uncle comes into the picture, and all of this is happening. So, I mean, I know it's hard for her. She played the parental role to Curtis, and she's protective, but if you really had stuff going on, you don't have to like her, but to hold on to it this tight, I don't know.
But here's the thing, and then the conversation that was had afterwards with Jordan and Curtis. I'm getting so good at the character names. um, she's like, are you okay with that day?
Yes.
Are you okay with? And then she like expands on it, because that is the truth. That is the reality. If you're going to become this family unit, and she decides not to be there, like you have to be okay with like every single moment that she's
Yeah.
going to miss.
I
Like,
was
and
really happy that Jordan did that, because she needs to
yeah,
cover her butt too. Like, she's trying for
absolutely.
him. She's trying way more than I would ever try. And it's not working. And it's
No, I
just
feel the
not,
same way. Not
yeah, like,
like
she's
as an
bending
adult.
over backwards, but I just feel like she has made it clear, like, you keep trying to do this. But again, Stella always does this. She turns it on when Curtis shows up. So she downplays how vicious she might have been with Jordan, and then plays the sweet person to Curtis, being like, I can't, this is too much on me. And I'm just like, oh, really? Like, you have enough in you to constantly hold on to this anger and fight with Jordan and ultimately hurt Curtis. I don't know. It's a lot. So, I mean, that was just annoying. I find
It
it's
was.
obviously really good because it's a small piece of all the storylines, but it definitely pulls more out of you because it touches at like the core of like family issues.
Oh my God, so true. Maybe that's why it kind of irritates me, because I'm like, Stella, you're gonna get left in the dark. You are the one that's going to be left in the
There's
dark.
so, I feel
Trust
like
me.
yeah, I feel like it definitely would draw out more from people, because I think it's so much more,
We
I
all
think,
have
I
that
think
family
people can
member
really realistic to exactly, we can all kind of
or
relate in some
pieces
shape or
of.
form.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was really good. Happy Jordan stuck up for herself. Not much going on in terms of the baby switch this week, other than like
Oh
Julian
God.
sort of
Mhm.
being like, hey, Brad, have you never committed a crime? Don't draw attention to yourself.
Dude, okay, but Brad, he's speaking so loud. Like, all I get, it's like he's like yelling in a bar.
Yeah, Nina heard.
I
Nina,
know.
like, they make a point of showing her hear
Yes,
part
a
of it.
reaction.
But the thing is, at the same time, she's going through her own stuff. So the way she interprets a comment about a baby,
Yeah,
it's like
totally.
she's personalizing that. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if it means anything that she heard that. Because how many people have, noticed Kevin's weird behavior? Who's going to be the one to kind of
No.
figure it out?
I don't know that part, but like I thought it was interesting about Nina that may come back around later than she might be, because she's so outside of the situation. It
Yeah.
would be interesting if her of all people pieces things together. I don't know if that's anything, but I just thought it was really funny that he's just like pacing and talking, and you're like, dude, this is like supposed to be a secret. Do you know how to like whisper?
I like that. That's what I was saying a long time ago about like Spinelli being that outsider that is kind of a little bit instigated in everybody's storyline, because that information would help him kind of piece things together when they need to be. But anyway,
Yeah.
but like Nina sort of did it, but I don't know, like they did show it, so it kind of hints at something, so who knows what's going to happen there. Also in the bar, we have the new character starting. So, I mean, some people online seem to think that may have something to do with the baby switch storyline, but I thought maybe she's there for Christina.
With the one for the concert?
Yeah.
Oh, my thought immediately was Christina.
Yeah,
Because you know
same
how
here.
Sam was like, go and do something stupid?
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Don't you think Alexis should have gone to the concert?
1000%. Oh my God. Take this opportunity to bond with your daughter. She's actually inviting you after you were so, I don't even want to, she was being
No.
controlling. She was trying to
Yeah.
like, blah, blah, blah. That, and she laid like a hand out to you and you just said, oh no, thank you. It's like, no, you should have taken it and like let loose and have fun.
I think so too, and it was just sort of ridiculous. I'm just like, I mean, I get it. It might be distracting for her to focus on Christina, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think there needs to be anything to go on in her life for that to affect that. Like, it's obviously her dynamic with Christina, but it's just, my gosh, she has a place to live. She's living with her sister who has kids, there's some stability there. She has a guidance from somebody that she'll actually listen to, somebody that can give her a little bit of space that Alexis can't. She found herself a job. First of all, you're making it about yourself that you don't like somebody working with your ex-husband. And that you don't like that she's pouring drinks. Like, what the hell is wrong with her being a bartender? As she said, I am figuring it out.
Okay, but the best part of that whole entire scene was Christina's response.
Oh my gosh, yes, that was so
Wasn't
good.
that okay? So when she said something along the lines of like, "How about next time? Let's evaluate your potential." My jaw just dropped
I
open. I was
know.
like, "Good for you."
Yeah, that was excellent. That was very, very
That was
excellent.
on point. Like I loved that part. I know I say I love a lot when we talk on this podcast,
No,
but
but
that
that
was
was brilliant.
mwah.
That was brilliant. I really like that. Again, too, a little bit of family drama that people can just relate to there. But with I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think I'm just trying to support one of my theories here. But the fact that Alexis keeps pushing the whole your potential, you could do something with your mind. I'm like, is that going to push her more to the mob? Like, well, she would be doing something with her mind if she was a criminal.
I know.
So, I don't know. I just wonder if that constant, like, I don't know if there's any meaning behind it,
Yeah, it was
her
like
constantly
foreshadowing.
badgering her about, like, her career specifically. Cause, like, I mean, she came back to town. Like, how much are we going to talk about it? Like, she's here, she's starting her life, but Alexis keeps harping on it. Nobody else is. So I was just wondering, what that could mean. And, okay, your favorites here, Anna, Finn. What do you got?
Honestly, I don't have a whole lot except for the fact that they're super cute together. I do love their little love bubble. One thing that always makes me giggle is how many times she says my son. Between the my son and my daughter, if
Oh,
I drank, I would be hammered every single time.
yeah.
Um, and then I'm not sure how I feel about the Peter Flynn scene. I'm really not sure how I feel about it.
I'm annoyed. I'm just like, everybody is an adult here. Did Peter not earn the right to take some space and digest the fact that, hey, I've hated who I thought my mother was for a bajillion years. Now I've come to know who she is, and I may need time for some feelings to die and to kind of maybe start over. But, like, has he not earned the right to decide? Like, he's not going to go kill her. We know
Apparently
that.
not.
Right? Oh,
It's
man.
terrible. Like, I agree. Like, the dude needs time to breathe. This is a lot of information. He obviously has a soft spot for Anna, or there is something there, but you gotta give him some time. Like, the dude just went through all kinds of trauma. He's dealing with all this stuff with being kidnapped. Maxie and his relationship being deteriorated.
Yeah, which matters
Nathan,
more.
like, so many things around him are just kind of like
He was
crumbling and falling
kidnapped.
apart. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's going through trauma, healing from that bruise on his hand. I don't know how he keeps his shirt on with that bruise walking around all the time. So yeah, I felt a little like it was too much. Stop pushing. Like, it's one thing for him to know, and it's another to say, what is it going to take?
Yeah. It hasn't been all that long. You know what I mean? Like, what is it going to take? Just let it happen naturally and not force. I mean, honestly, for him of all people, now that we're talking about this, him of all people to push somebody else to have a relationship with a family member? Really?
Right? Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, yeah. I'm just
So
like,
true.
I'm on leave Peter alone and let him find his way to Anna if he finds his way there. But I think, like, you're right. He's gone through so much of his own stuff that's more in his immediate circle that need to be sorted out that mean a lot more to him. Like, the guy is in love with Maxie and can't function.
Yeah.
So figuring out
I
stuff with
love it.
Anna, yeah, I just don't see how that can work for him right now. And he did, like, and then Finn has the nerve to say after to Anna that that's not just a baby step, that's leaps and bounds. Yeah, because you pushed it. You pushed the guy to maybe go in a place he wasn't ready to go just yet, but whatever. I mean, Peter did what he did. He reached out to Anna, but I really don't think you should be putting that on Peter that Anna decided to go on another random effing mission. Like, it's just, that kind of annoyed me. Like, yes, you're having this amazing time with Finn. I love her in that context of just family a little bit, slowing down. But it's just annoying. Like, I would prefer, like, her being an agent with these really cool cases, but I found, like, obviously with Peter, we know why she was so personally invested. It's because it was her son. But I mean, every case there's a personal element which makes her obsessive and less objective. And that bugs me because I don't like it when they do that to the female characters. Like, I know that they're multidimensional and they have the right to kind of, look at things from all different angles. But honestly, I prefer her to be more agenty when it comes to a case
Yes.
than having it all be like in the back of her mind about Peter, because Obright is about Peter.
Well,
And I
yeah.
hate to say it, but like, like you said, Anna keeps referring to him as her son. I mean, I don't know. Like, I get it. Obviously, with Faison dead, you felt like your son was safe, but you could have, like, located him at any point in time
I know. And like,
without
that's why I'm
contacting
so
him in
torn. Like,
person.
it's a very weird situation because I like Anna as a character.
Yeah, me
This
too.
whole situation is new. I like her strong character. And I'm not sure how to put this all together yet to make it okay in my world of Anna
Yeah.
having this kid and all of a sudden, like, it's like when somebody says, you know, it's like, okay, the DA with her dad. It's not your dad. It's like he wasn't there. Like, not to be like, it's like you keep saying my son, like you've had this connection, but you don't.
Yeah.
You
But
gave birth to him, and you're trying to connect with him, but that's it. You literally have to build a relationship from zero.
yeah, and you have to kind of make it about him and not about you, and she tends to make it about
Yes,
herself.
just using that word son and feeling that guilt does not make a relationship.
Well, even trying to, like, jump in on Robin's potential lunch with Peter
Yes. Oh, that was
wasn't
terrible.
right either. And even with the DA, that's the thing. I know when you're saying she doesn't have a relationship with him, that's exactly what I was getting at, in the sense that she didn't even have a relationship through the mother. Like, that's the issue with the DA. Because she could have lost the father, but then she could have grown up
Yes.
knowing him through the mother. But the way that
Yes.
she made it seem was that the mother was kind of like, told her lies about him and didn't really give him, like, much importance to
Yeah.
her, to the family. So that's the thing. Like, so then where do we go with this? You had a father who's a mystery to you. Your
Mm-hmm.
mom didn't seem to elevate him into this important level, it seems. And then a bunch of strangers told, like, is where you kind of understood that he was probably a criminal of some sort, or maybe hung with the wrong people. That's why I find it really hard to understand her anger.
Same here. Like, it just feels so conjured and not genuine, and maybe that is part of the purpose. Who knows?
Well, maybe that's the point. We're not supposed to feel sorry for her.
Yeah, because we
And
never
it's
like
fun to
DAs
not feel
anyways.
sorry for her.
Yeah, it is.
um, yeah, so Kevin, it's starting to get a little creepy.
Oh my God, that's exactly. Oh,
Starting to
yeah.
get a little creepy. And,
It
like,
is
I'm
starting to
touching
get
her.
creepy.
Oh, and it's
Okay, but
like,
when he walked in, okay, you go first.
no, like, I was just gonna talk about, like, what makes it even creepier is more like what Felicia is saying. First, I
Yeah,
thought her
that
interview with Lulu was kind
freaked
of
me
funny because
out.
I'm like, who are you mad at here? Because you said you're coming to this interview, but I love how she was just laying on a little bit of attitude toward Lulu. I mean, Lulu was good. She stayed like calm the whole time, but Felicia's just like, let's just get this over with. I mean, because I guess she feels forced to do this interview because if not, she doesn't know how it's going to be portrayed.
Yes.
But yeah, what makes it creepy is all the stuff that she says about, you know, her, she's not a victim. He didn't get her. She gets to live her life. He'll never touch her again. And then Kevin touches her. That whole thing is just getting a
I
little
got like
weird.
goosebumps when he did that.
Yeah.
And so when he walks into the bar before they get there
Mm-hmm.
and he sees Ava at the bar and that look on his face when he pauses and then walks towards her, I was like, oh my God, so creepy. And then Franco catches his glance.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is he going to be the one to like
I would
notice
like
things or are
to.
things just going to happen? Or are things just going to happen?
Oh my gosh, I'm getting so scared because it's dark and I'm in this car.
Every time we do this. I'm gonna have to get like a flashlight for the car
I
or something like
do.
that. Or like
First
there's
of all,
a light in the car. Actually,
I have a flashlight in the car, and there's actually lights like right
lights
outside
in
of
the
my
car,
car,
right?
like the lights from like the condo to the parking lot. And oh, okay. So I don't have
It's
much to
okay.
say
Just
about
lock the
Kevin.
door and
We
have
can
him come and get you
they're locked.
after.
They're locked. Yeah, Lucy just annoying me. Stop it. Oh, your wife's not here.
I
Like, so
know.
sad. Oh my gosh, give me
Are
a break.
you?
She's handling her business. He's fine with it. They're married. I mean, not to this guy, but to Kevin. Kevin's fine. Like, this is their agreement. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're,
Teenager. She's a teenager she's an overgrown teenager who's incessantly obsessed with making her exes happy.
I don't even know where to go from there. But it's just like, it's crazy because you remember how she was like, oh, I don't want you to constantly say me as a cheater. And now you're just throwing yourself onto your
Yeah.
ex-husband. Okay, Lucy.
She's so crazy.
She
But
is really
I mean,
crazy.
that is who Lucy is. She's just
Yeah.
a nut
She's
job.
her at
She
her
like doesn't.
core. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. I think a fun place to finish off for me is Maxie figuring out that Lulu is the one who pushed Peter away from her.
Oh my God! So that's the last line I have in mind too. Okay, shoot, because I know how much you love the Lulu situation, and we both adore Max.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of that scene when she confronts her?
Well, first of all, I think that Lulu, out of character, owned it and admitted, oopsie poopsies, won't do it again. Like, at least that. It was a very direct conversation, and I think Maxie
Yes.
made it very clear to Lulu and message received. And I know you said last time that, you know, Lulu's just not that aware. I'm sorry. You saw her talk about his abs having abs. You know she has a crush on him. Just because your feelings are murky, I don't understand how in your mind you're like, stay away from her. What's the matter with you? Like, you can see that Maxie is kind of like seeking his attention because she did walk up to the two of you at the
Yeah.
table. So I don't understand where you got off really feeling you knew what was best for her or that you even understood that relationship. I mean, I know this may not be it. This is mean, but I'm like, I don't think she's deep enough for this, but the character, but I mean, I don't know if there's some layer who's like, Peter replaced me during that time. And I'm
Oh,
back now, so but that's the thing. I really don't think she's coming at it from that angle. But if you do take a step back, she's
yeah.
kind of like, are you trying to? Because like, I mean, they've kind of reconnected, and I don't know if it is the first time, but it feels like it was the first time she really used that. Oh, you're my best friend. Like I was just looking out for you.
Okay, but she is like the worst best friend. She's so oblivious. Like that was the hard part. Like I'm looking at this scene, and I mean, it doesn't help. And she's a beautiful actress. She's got these big doe eyes. So
Oh, so
Maxie's
does her
like,
daughter. It's so cute. Anyways,
oh, so
Instagram stalking.
Maxie's like, oh yeah, they're so super cute, and I love. She's like on Etsy, and she makes things,
Mm-hmm.
and I totally want to buy one of her scarves. However, like Maxie, I love how Maxie, you know, she's so like, I love the way she stands firm. I love her expressions, and she was just like really direct with her. But Lulu just like is standing there with these doe eyes, like, oh. I don't know. I'm sorry. Like just really genuinely 1000% oblivious to Maxie's
I
face. So
know,
how
and
can
I
you
know
tell
you
yourself a
say
best
that,
friend?
but I
And
can't
you're
get
like,
my head around
oh,
it. It's
I know.
obvious,
Yeah.
obviously, in the way that she's behaving and the things that she's choosing. But I'm just like, really?
It's like, that's the kind of best friend you want to have who literally has like no freaking clue how to like tune into your emotions. But like you literally said it, like you said, that comment as I said, that being around, like if you know your closest friend, it
But she
is
even
very
gave her the eye. She even gave her that look in their conversation, like, why do you keep talking about him? Do you like him? Like she gave that look. It's a long sentence, but she gave that look that any girl would know. So yeah, it
I
just
know.
kind of bugs
I
me
know.
that she tried to control that. So I guess I lied because the other thing too was I liked the conversation with Maxie and Peter, and I loved her observation about Obrecht and Anna having a twisted friendship and that they won't admit to it.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
They do. They have a weird frenemy thing happening. But I also like when Peter was like, Obrecht's out, like, who's really going to be safe? She's like, me. She won't say
I know.
anything to me.
I thought that was
I'm
so
pretty
funny.
good. But you, on the other hand.
You should worry.
And Nina's good, and James is good. That was
Oh
funny.
God, that was a great scene, and yeah, that made me laugh, and that is a good way to end this week's episode.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it was a short week, and I look forward to 5 days of GH next week.
Me too. The more, the better.
Oh, yeah, and before we go, again, I really hope you know these. I know our Instagram handle is at the Port Charles Update. What's the Twitter one?
Yes.
We're still working on that one.
The Twitter
More.
one it is at, I feel like it's
It's
the
PC update?
PC update.
PC update, okay. And then we do have our Facebook page. We're starting to populate it, but we haven't really worked on promoting that one just yet. So yeah, so those are our social media pages that you can follow, comment on, and maybe we'll mention the comments you make as well on the podcast. So that's about it for us, I think, this week. I hope you have a really good weekend.
You
What am I
too.
saying? We're gonna show FaceTime on the weekend, but anyways,
I know, right?
I'll
Whatever.
talk
They
to
don't
you
know.
next week. Wink, wink.
Bye. Good night. Walk safely
Bye.
those 5 steps to your home.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.